Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Please let me know if you can hear my voice. If you could just put a message there in the uh, chat little box here, and I'll know that we're working okay. Walaikum salam, Brother Jesse. Can you all hear me okay? I want to make sure that thank you, Brother Rafi. So we want to open up in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And we thank him for preparing and raising from amongst us the most precious human being that human beings could be blessed to encounter, to know, and we had been awaiting, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I thank them both for preparing and giving to us today in this hour, an hour of trouble, a divine guide, teacher, and national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's in their names that we greet you this evening, brothers and sisters, in the greeting words of peace, which we say in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you. In Spanish, La paz sea con usted. And we're here this evening with a very, very special broadcast here on Closing the Gap platform. And we thank Student Minister James Muhammad, Student Minister Chad Muhammad, and all of those who assist him in his wonderful programs of Closing the Gap. And on our platform as well of Nuestra Nation of Islam, Nuestra NOI, for the Spanish speaking and believers and those from roots in Latin America. We're coming on this evening with a very special broadcast and presentation in regards to what has been seen so much of on the news. And we've seen photographs and we've seen images of what is happening at the U.S.-Mexico border with our brothers and sisters from Haiti and their absolute horrid mistreatment. So we wanted to come on live and not just rehash images or talk about it from some distant standpoint where we're trying to figure out what's happening. But in the Nation of Islam, we have family in every nook and cranny, not only of America, but of the planet. And we have with us today, and I'm going to bring him on now, a very, very special and dear brother of ours, our brother, student minister, attorney, mayor, our brother Joseph Makandal, who has roots in Haiti. And I wanted to please welcome you first with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, the beloved brother, student minister, Abel Muhammad. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to present. And we begin all things in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I personally bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. And I greet each and every one of your listening audience with the mighty greeting word of peace and the greeting word of paradise, which all of us are seeking, especially the Haitian people at this time. We say in the Arabic language, the language of our ancestors, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you, of course. And you said in Spanish, La paz con ustedes, and in Creole, La paix avec nous. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear brother. And I wanted to, before we get into our discussion this evening, I wanted to just give you a brief bio because our brother is very, very equipped on many, many different levels to not only be of benefit to our people, but of real assistance in a professional way, as well as in a spiritual way to our people. So I wanted to take just a moment to read some of our brother's bio. Brother Makandal is currently the student representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to Haiti and the general coordinator of the Haiti-based Respect for Life Foundation, and the Operation Self-Improvement, Self-Development. He is on the ministry staff at Mosque number 7 in New York. He speaks 4 languages, but not limited to those 4 languages,
Yes,
including Haitian Creole, French, and Spanish, and obviously English, as you heard him here. In December of 2011, he was designated as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's Haitian Creole interpreter during the minister's visit to Haiti and the Caribbean. Student Minister Makandal is an ambassador of peace for the Universal Peace Federation and the city of Jeremy in Haiti. In his capacity as being a lawyer, because our brother is also a lawyer, you see that Esquire at the end of his name, a goodwill representative, and an ambassador. Brother Makandal has engaged in many policy making and conflict resolution endeavors. He has traveled to Taiwan and Korea on friendship tours. He travels to Haiti several times a year to manage his grassroots activities there, and has contributed in many national building initiatives, including the amendment of Haiti's constitution in 2012 to include dual citizenship rights to Haitians in the diaspora. Additionally, Brother Makandal has traveled to the Dominican Republic to spotlight the ongoing crisis over the Dominican Republic's treatment of Haitians and Dominicans of Haitian descent. He recently won a landmark decision in immigration court in Newark, New Jersey, granting a Dominican of Haitian descent asylum from both the Republic of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Brother Makandal is the immediate past president of the Haitian American Lawyers Association of New Jersey. His political experience started on November 2nd, 2008, when he won the council seat in a landslide for the borough of South Toms River, New Jersey, to become the first Haitian American elected official in New Jersey's history. Before finishing his 3-year term, Brother Makandal on November 2nd, 2010, became the first popularly elected mayor of African descent in Ocean County's history, and the first Haitian American elected mayor in the state of New Jersey, as well as the first Nation of Islam official elected mayor in the Nation of Islam's history. Brother Mayor Makandal is committed and passionate about serving his constituency, community, and our people. And you can hear that's just a part of the bio, because you could tell our brother is not only gifted and talented and in just very, very intelligent. That's all good. But if you notice, the one thing that his resume, if you will, has in common, there's one trait: service. Service to human beings, service to his people, service to our people. And we're honored to have our brother on with us tonight. And I wanted to start our conversation giving context, if you can, Brother Makandal. We've seen the photos at the border, but most people don't know, how did it happen that the people of Haiti ended up in Mexico and traveled through Mexico as well as other countries to make it all the way to the southern border of the United States? If you can give us a little bit of background on that, as well as telling us a little bit about your involvement once they got to the border, because our brother, and that's why we really wanted him on here, was just there a few days ago as all of these images were coming across the wire in the news to us. So Brother Makandal, if you would just give us a little bit of background and context about what happened in Haiti that has put us in the situation to the photographs that we see in the media and the news today.
Thank you so much for your question, beloved. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You ask for a background, and I don't know how far back you want me to go, but I will go as far as I can so that we can go at the root of things.
Yes.
We are taught in the Nation of Islam that we have root knowledge. And so I would like to take the opportunity to go at the root, and that way our listening audience and viewing audience can have a proper context as to the injustice that has heaped upon the Haitian people. So having said that, we all know that the Haitian people, first and foremost, are Black people. that were kidnapped along with our brothers and sisters in America and throughout the Caribbean, really the Western Hemisphere, most of them, as some of us were here before Columbus. Uh, be it as it may, we were brought here in the Western Hemisphere not necessarily to become Haitians. This was never expected by the enemy. But of course, it was to become the burdens bearer to build this new world in the Western Hemisphere for their benefit. And so they miscalculated God in the process. They always think that, of course, because it was ordained by Allah that they would have this kind of respite where they would, continue to raise hell on our planet. But the Haitian people reminded them, because this was just a sign that you will not always be in power to do injustice, even though you were giving a certain period of time. And so this revolution, this uprising, this miraculous work by those miracle workers, I'm talking about our ancestors, Makandal, Bookman, Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture, Cecile Fatima, Tantoya, Sanit Belair, and the name goes on and on, Henry Christophe. We were able to take over that land that upon which we were made slaves. So we grew into becoming a nation within that colony, and so we claimed it and give the name back to the original owners of that land. The original owners of that land were our brothers and sisters who are miscalled the Indians, but they are the native on that land, which came 16,000 years ago in that area, according to our lessons. And so they used to call that land Haiti or Haiti or Quisqueya or Boyo. And when our leader, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines in 1804, when he declared us independent, he used that name to revert back, give it back to the original owners, to honor the memories of those original Haitians. Those so-called Indians used to be called Haitians. So every time you call a Haitian, a black person a Haitian, at the same time you're not only referring to the black man, but you're also referring to the native man as well. So that marriage is up, into the term Haitian. It's a very powerful term if you understand. That land was so rich that it was the source of the wealth of France. And of course, the richness of that land was cultivated through hard labor. And that land was considered the richest colony in the world. And it was and continues to be rich in natural minerals, gold, bauxite, iridium, a lot of natural resources that some scientists say, if they were to allocate the vastness of the natural resources that are under the Haitian feet, every one of those Haitians could be multimillionaire. We're talking about 12 million Haitians. Imagine that. Each one of them, if what is under their feet is allocated to those Haitians, each and every one of those Haitians will be considered multimillionaire.
Wow.
Now, having stated that, when the Emperor Jean-Jacques Dessalines declared Haiti independent in January 1st, 1804, the United States of America did not recognize the independence of Haiti. For 58 years, from 1804 to 1862. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
A country that fought against slavery, a country that stood for freedom, justice, and equality, but yet was not recognized by the United States of America. So we not only had to defeat the British, we also had to defeat the French, the Spaniards, for 12 years, from 1791 to 1803, in order for us to gain this independence, not given to us, not emancipation, but we claimed it. We took it on our own term, on our own clock.
That's right.
So obviously, this interfered with the enemy's goal of taking over the whole world, continuing their slaverocracy, their slavery system on the planet. So we changed the trajectory of the whole world, because not only did we free ourselves, but we were not selfish.
That's right.
Because we didn't want freedom just for ourselves. We were not trying to conquer people's land, stealing people's land. No, we wanted to conquer hearts. We wanted to free hearts. We wanted to free people. That was our aim and purpose. And so we helped Simon Bolivar.
That's right.
To
the great liberator of Latin America, they call him. That's
precisely.
Right.
And he sought asylum to Haiti twice, in 1814 and 15. And we granted him asylum. And not only did we grant him asylum as he was striving to free Latin America, but we also helped him. We gave him armaments, a printing system, soldiers. And we eventually were able to free Latin America with our assistance to our brother. That's and right. So they used to call it the Grand Colombia. Right. And as you can see, the flag of Haiti, you can see traces of it in Latin America, the red and the blue.
That's right.
And so we not only helped Latin America, we also helped the United States of America.
That's right. That's right.
In 1779, we helped him, the United States, to fight against the British in Savannah, Georgia. And we helped Greece to fight to gain their independence as well. We were the freedom fighters.
That's right.
I know we hear that term spoken in many circles, but we were the original freedom fighters.
That's right.
And we inspired Nat Turner, Denmark VC, and those brothers and sisters who are here in America to rise up. And that's one of the reasons why the United States of America did not want any Haitian to come into the United States, because they call us the troublemakers. And they did everything in their power to demonize us. They come up with, those false notions about voodoo and how we are eating people, we are cannibals. They have repeated this thing so much that some of our own people have even adopted into the belief that they are themselves some kind of demons.
That's right.
Imagine that. Freedom fighters, those who are fighting the real demons, are now being demonized by the demons.
And Brother Makandal, if you could, 1 second, we have another guest that is about to join us. I don't want you to lose your place, but I thought it was a good place to insert. right now, and we're going to go right back to you in a moment. We have joining us the third of the trio this evening, our brother uh, down in the 7th region, our beautiful brother also from Haiti, and he's the 7th regional representative and minister for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam in the wonderful city
There
of
he is.
Miami. We have Student Minister Patrick Muhammad joining us as well. Assalamu alaikum, dear brother.
Walaikum salam, brother Abel, brother Makandal, my
Yes,
brothers, my
yes,
brothers,
yes.
my brothers.
And you could hear Brother Makandal was giving us some great history here.
Oh yes, sir. He has to continue because
That's right.
he's such a teacher on that. I'm a student when he talks like that.
But
This
for
is for the
those
book one right here.
that's right. For those who may not know, we already introduced Brother Makandal, but we want to make sure we properly introduce our brother, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, who was born in 1971 in Brooklyn, New York. And Student Minister Patrick is a son of Haiti. He grew up in the island nation until the age of 15. From there, he permanently moved to the United States, first to Los Angeles, California. In Los Angeles, he became a registered member of the Nation of Islam on February 10th, 1993. Soon after hearing the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speak at the Los Angeles Coliseum. After serving in the ranks in different capacities for several years, he became the student minister of Phoenix, Arizona on October 7th, 2001. In August of 2011, Student Minister Patrick took part in a delegation to Haiti to oversee the installation of a water purification solar panel system that was gifted by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam for the benefit of the Voodoo, Christian, and Muslim communities on the island nation. This initiative took place after a devastating earthquake that seriously affected the infrastructure of Haiti in January 2010. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wanted to see the unification of the various spiritual communities through the process of the need for water itself. Soon after the mission to Haiti, Student Minister Patrick moved to Miami in February of 2012 with the aim of helping the minister while servicing the community. In May of 2013, he became the student minister over Muhammad Mosque number 29 in Miami, and later in December of 2014, he became the 7th regional representative of the Nation of Islam, which covers the state of Florida, the Caribbean, Central, South America, and Mexico. Student Minister Patrick has been married to his wife, Aliyah, since 1998, is the father of 6 children, and is also a grandfather. You can't be a grandfather. You can't have a face like that young and be a grandfather.
Yes, sir.
As a student minister in the Nation of Islam, he has spoken to students at the elementary, middle school, and high school levels, has been involved in prison reform initiatives, taken part in several humanitarian missions in the Caribbean islands, helped to launch the Justice or Else movement in Miami in 2015, and has provided pastoral counseling to significant members of the community and youth organizations. He has also provided marriage counseling and has spoken extensively on the topic of male and female relationships. And it's an honor to have, and we welcome once again, if you would like to greet everyone, please, with a few words, our student minister, regional minister, Brother Patrick Muhammad from the 7th region.
Thank you, brother Abel. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I thank Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, his divine risen exalted Christ, and the Messiah of Allah's Christ in our midst today, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It is an honor and pleasure to be with you, my dear brother, Student Minister Abel and Student Minister Makandal, in this critical time that we in, and a time that is indeed, we've been taught of the time and what must be done. And definitely we have to stand on truth for freedom, justice, and equality for the original members of the human family. So I am elated to be on the platform with you all. And you all already know, especially this trio, we connect in a certain type of spirit from the very beginning anyways.
That's right.
So I'm just elated to be on the platform with you all this evening.
Thank you, brother student minister Patrick. So we wanted to, brother Makandal was giving us some history, which I thought was very important, because many people have seen the images in the last few days coming from the Mexico-US border of the treatment, the mistreatment of our Haitian brothers and sisters. But I think it's unfair to look at those images without understanding how did the brothers and sisters get to that border so far from Haiti. And we can't even just start that from a year ago or 2 years ago. Our brother was giving us a very beautiful explanation and context on not only just the academic level of facts, but really the spiritual and the really spiritual, that's the right word, on the timeline of God, what is happening and how is it happening and what are we looking at? Because it's one thing to listen to what the media is saying with their constant misinformation, but it's another thing to know the facts so that you can try to make sense of the present circumstances that we're looking at. Because if you listen to the media and learn the actual facts behind it, what the media is saying doesn't make any sense. And most times they misrepresent their images. Then they bring it to the other liars in the White House for them to validate their lies, and they come up with their own set of lies. And trapped and ensnared in the middle is the masses of our people from the Caribbean, from Latin America, from the United States of America, from the Black community, from the Latino community, from the white community. Everyone then is taking this pile of misinformation and altered data and facts and trying to make sense of it without even first having the actual facts of what has happened. And that's what our brother is really providing us with. And I wanted, if you could, and again, we want this to be more of a conversation.
Yes.
So if anyone wants to, if you have something to add, Brother Patrick, by all means. Brother Makandal, you were mentioning what was done not only for Haiti and the Caribbean, but all of this hemisphere in truth, from Latin America, or what's called Latin America, all the way up to the United States of America being helped by the people of Haiti. And I learned earlier today that as early as 1811, I believe was the year, just 7 years young as a nation, the people of Haiti sent freedom fighters to Mexico.
That's right.
And to the south of the United States as well, to help in the liberation struggle and of ending of slavery. The Haitian people wanted freedom, not just for themselves, but for everyone. They didn't send a team of colonizers with the idea of conquest. They sent a band of liberators to help the people to become free, and then they went back home. What a beautiful, absolutely beautiful story. If you could, brother, give a little bit of the background on what we saw in the photos now. That part, what had happened, how long ago, when did this catastrophe really, that we see the photos of on the border, what was the catalyst for that? What brought the people to Mexico? How did they get to Mexico? Because it's not just next door to Haiti necessarily. How did that happen? And either Brother Patrick or Brother Makandal, if you can fill in some of that gap before we get to the photos of what we've seen in the last few days.
Well, I like to ride on the frequency that Brother Makandal is on.
Yes.
We feed each other. He's notorious for that. We take a lot for that. So I'm going to segue to Brother Makandal, and then I can chime in, inshallah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
go ahead.
Praise be to Allah. Well, I would just finish the thought that I started as far as the richness of Haiti, because it is important to state that, because people nowadays, whenever they hear the word Haiti, the next thing they hear is the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
Some even say the poorest nation in the world. So it's almost like the poorest becomes our last name. Haiti is the first name. The poorest is the last name, which is completely false. Haiti is the most impoverished nation
Yes.
in the world, because we used to be the richest colony. And after that, in 1804, when we became independent, technically, we still had that richness. So if we were the richest colony, so the minute after we declared our independence, we were the richest country
Right. Right. Right.
in the world,
That's right.
basically. So how did we get to become the richest to become the poorest or the most impoverished? So this is the timeline that I wanted to bring into view. Now, going up into 1805, 1825, when France decided to come to extort 120 million franc in bullion gold from Haiti, which is worth today $22 billion. It took us over 122 years to pay that false independence debt. We had to pay France for beating them and for gaining our independence, because they say that they lost so much because Haiti was such a rich land for them, and we had to pay them so much money so that some of us can go to France and visit those beautiful monuments and to Eiffel and whatnot, and feeling that we're going into some great place when it is Haitian money that have financed the building of France as it is today. So as France was getting swelled up with riches and development with our money, guess what was happening in reverse? We were getting poorer and poorer, because for 122 years, over 80% of our budget will go toward paying a false independence debt to France, instead of investing in the building infrastructure and making us the strong country that we're supposed to be. And then in 1915, the United States came in and occupied Haiti for 19 years, from 1915 to 1934, and took our gold reserve that is worth today $17 billion.
Wow.
Further raping Haiti and taking our natural resources, and further putting us into a state of misery. Still, we're resisting. We're doing our best to continue to survive as a nation, and then all the way to making Haiti a vassal state, VASSAL,
Yes.
as opposed to a colony. A colony is when the actual colonist is sitting under foreign land and controlling things. That's a colony by a colonist. But we don't have a colony in Haiti right now. We have a vassal state where another power is controlling the power of another nation, but using the faces of the people of that nation, giving them a veneer of sovereignty with our own flag, but yet we are controlled by another power. That's a vassal state for Haiti.
That's right.
And so, because that power is an evil power, obviously, wherever there is evil, there is hell. So Haiti is experiencing a hellish condition with the instability of our government, with the complicit of our own brothers and sisters who are sell out because they were not taught properly and they have not been exposed to the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to know for the enemy and the know self, and to know that they should be doing for self and not for the enemy, against the interests of their people. So this condition has caused a lot of our brothers and sisters to leave Haiti, because Haiti has become a foreign state for Haitians, a foreign state for Haitians. So they are, going into different countries. Dominican Republic, they are rejected by the government, not necessarily by the people, because the people are, catching hell just like the average, Haitian. But the government is creating a xenophobic attitude toward Haitians. So some Dominicans are falling into that trap, but the majority of them, of course, are not. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any Haitians in Dominican Republic. So this narrative has to be made very clear. so that we will not propagate a negative narrative that would further exacerbate the situation. So we have Haitians going to Chile and Brazil and many other countries, but yet those governments are not giving them the proper route for them to get proper documentations to continue to live there. They create a circumstance where they would be relegated to working jobs that the average citizens of that particular country would not want to work, in the fields and whatnot, as they're doing to our brothers and sisters of Mexican descent.
That's right.
In California and other places, making it hard for them to become legal so that they would not have to do this kind of job. So it's the same thing for Haitians, in those other countries. So because a lot of those Haitians finally realize now they have to leave their country because their own country has become a foreign state for them, now going into different places, and those places are mistreating them and not giving them access to proper residency and in proper living condition. And so they see United States as their last resort for them to be able to come. And so they took that journey, traveling 9 different countries.
Wow, 9 different countries.
Yes, sir. I have it here. They travel from Chile into Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and they have to cross a river. And in that river between Colombia and into Panama, there's a lot of people who died, and also going into the jungle of Colombia in Panama. That's where a lot of the sodomies are going on, raping of men and women. People who on their way get their leg broken or get injured, they can't, there's no hospital around, so they are left in agony. Oh my goodness. So babies are left by themselves, and children, some of them are left by themselves when the parents both pass away, or that one parent pass away along the way. They just left by themselves, and the raping that have been going on openly, in front of the spouses and whatnot. And from Panama they go into Costa Rica. From Costa Rica they go into Nicaragua, and some of those people, they spend like 2 or 3 hours on buses. And before I go into that, but Panama is about 7 days they spend walking through the jungle. They say that they've seen some animals that they've never seen before. Creatures.
And if you could stop, just to make it clear here, see, I don't think people caught what you just said, Brother Makandal. It's not like there's buses or planes or boats. They're walking.
Yes, they're walking. There's some places like they actually take a bus, to cross into other jurisdiction, like from Peru to Ecuador. They take buses. Colombia, when they get to Colombia, that's where they have to take bus and walk. There's sometimes the walk will be like for 7 days, and on, and that's where they lost most of the people, is in the jungles and the rivers, because sometimes the current are so strong that they will snatch the baby off the parents' hands. And those things are not, they're not showing them because they don't want to alarm the international community, but they know what's going on the international community. And in every border that they have to go through, they have to not only pay money to the border agents, but also those gang members who they will come in and steal their stuff, and take this stuff away from them. I call this the new middle passage. It's almost like slavery in reverse. The only difference is we are the ones running away to come into the United States, where before they were shipping us into the United States. So then they go into Costa Rica, and from Costa Rica they go into Nicaragua, and then from there they go into Honduras. This takes about two months, that journey, and being attacked, some make it, some don't make it. From Honduras, they won't go into Guatemala. Guatemala, they go into Tapachula, and then into which is part of Mexico. But if they get caught there, they get sent back into Guatemala, and they have to pay back again to get in there. And then you go into Tijuana, Mexico. Someone will go to Tijuana, Mexico, or others go to further south where Texas is. And I must say, wow, this is so treacherous and so hard to listen to. Some of the good stories I've heard are mostly in Mexico. I've heard that Mexicans have treated, most of them have treated our people with dignity and care. They have even changed the way that they cook in order to accommodate our Haitian brothers and sisters, particularly in Tijuana, Mexico. And when the Mexican authorities are trying to take them and put them in prison or ship them, send them back, some of the Mexican in the area will volunteer to welcome them into their homes.
Wow.
And these are things that I'm hearing from individuals who are calling me. As a matter of fact, I can show you missed calls that I have because the people, you see, all red.
And for those who don't know, our brother Makandal is not just a student minister and a former mayor, but he's also, or just Haitian either. He's also an attorney, and he works in particular with immigration law. So his expertise here on both the spiritual and legal side is very, very important because he's familiar with these kind of cases. And you can see from the way he's describing this is not typical, even in a broken system, what is happening right now. It's not surprising, unfortunately, but for most of us, and if you could read the comments on the side here, just from the journey you've described, Brother Makandal, nobody knows what is happening.
No, sir.
Nobody knows. I didn't want to stop you. I just wanted to make sure we interject and mention that this is why this type of show is so important, and this in particular is why the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is so important, because it gives us the ability to not only feel, but to see beyond the lies and to try to get at the root of what is happening, and also with, by the grace of Allah, remedies and solutions. And our brother is doing what he can on the legal side. So please continue, my dear brother, or Brother Patrick, or whoever was going to continue at this point.
Hey, Brother Patrick.
Yes. Wow. And, just listening to what our brother, student minister Joseph Makandal just shared, and as I was having various thoughts, what's going on, of course, in Texas and everything else. And a few things that come to mind. One, Satan himself, he just can't help himself. And then the hypocrisy. These liars, they change the narrative.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
In the book of the Muslims, the Holy Quran, we have a chapter called the narrative. And there is a section in there that talks about the truth of revelation. And then there's another section that talks about how the opponents will be brought low. I was talking to two of my Haitian brothers and sisters, a woman and a man, just yesterday. And the woman said that Haitians are no good.
Wow.
And see the narrative, right? And of course, it's like the minister said, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about a war on two fronts. So we're looking at one, what is happening for those of us who go into the information and get the facts, the actual facts, like you talk about, Brother Abel. And then you have us as a people who have turned on one another, but it's not too far away from what Brother Dr. Martin Luther King talked about during the last years of his life, when he talked about poverty and how poverty is made by the enemy. This is a condition that is created. So the hypocrisy of these, I would call them something else, but I'll stick to Satan for now, because we're looking at Haiti when the minister told us, myself and Brother Makandal once, that I believe every enemy or so is in Haiti right now. Well, what are you doing in Haiti? If it's so poor, like you say it is, what business do you have in Haiti right now? Okay, it is the business of gold that is found in the mountain of Jacmel. It is the business of natural resources such as gas. There's a place one time in one of those trips that Brother Joseph Makandal and I did in Haiti on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. And I remember one time there was a reporter who talked about how in a city called Cité Soleil, meaning the city of the sun, where you're talking about the level of condition of poverty. My God. I mean, if you don't cry when you see that, you're not a human being, period. To see the no electricity, to see living on rocks, to see, I mean, just worse condition. But yet the UN soldiers were trying to move on the city. And then the people formed a barrier. As poor as they say we are, they formed the barrier and would not allow the UN soldiers to come. And there was another brother who was involved in politics that intervened. But the question is, what were these soldiers doing in that city if it's so poor?
That's right.
Because what they were doing was to steal or attempting to steal natural gas. The Cité of Soleil is very known for natural gas. Okay, so we have gold, we have natural gas, and not too long ago, Brother Joseph Makandal knows about this as well, and many others do. You have it to where a large amount of oil was found that belonged to Haiti. And experts have stated that if properly cultivated, that would make Haiti at that time the fourth richest, largest producing nation of oil in the world.
In the world.
Wow. In the world. Crooked Clinton, you went down there with your evil self. You put your brother in that position there. You try to abstract the amount of gold that is there, produce a fake company. You don't even know anything about gold, but you were there to just rob what needed to be robbed. You would leave other places to run into Haiti while Mr. So-called President Clinton was talking about Haiti is a paradise. How is it a poor place for us, but it's a paradise for you? You hypocrites, you liars, you deceivers. And what about these 8 families or more that run Haiti? Is it Biggio? Him by himself control the entire island economically. What about the missing children that come out of there? My aunt was telling me that the police was trying to intervene with little girls that were being shipped to Israel and whatnot, and body parts came up missing. Why are you taking the body parts? Why are you taking the hearts? Why are you taking the lambs? Because those other perpetrators who live in other countries need body parts. So these liars, these demons, these hypocrites, you have the audacity to say that Haiti is poor. You need to get the hell out of the country is what you need to do. And if you don't move right away, we who believe in the God that we serve, that God is moving you. Allah is moving things as we speak. We just don't understand him the way that he's moving. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to Brother Joseph Makandal and I one time, sitting at his dinner table, we were both and sadness. We were both angry of what we saw in Haiti from a trip that we came from. He sat there. He didn't say much. And after we gave him our reports, he said these words: 1804 is going to happen again.
That's right.
1804 is going to happen again. So now here we are, our brothers and sisters in Texas. Oh, they shouldn't be here. They're immigrants. They're illegal. Wait a minute, America. How did you get Louisiana?
That's right.
Did Haitian play a part in this? Did they fight for this? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this, and we stand by him. He says, America owes Haiti. So you better treat the people of God with fairness. You better treat the original people with fairness. All of the Latinos who are coming back. Why are you coming back? They're coming back to their own. And there's a journey that is happening that we're witnessing, whereas the Latinos and blacks are coming together. Look, they can't stop the will of Allah. Allah's will not be frustrated. But for us to watch these perpetrators on horses and trying to whip our people as if this is slavery again, I don't think so. You may try, but God is forcing us as a people to unite, pool our resources. We can't be looking around in Miami. I say that all the time, talking to our brothers from Jamaica, talking to our brothers from St. Thomas, look, it's not about I'm Haitian, I'm Jamaican. Look, we're all black suffering.
That's right.
We are Latino suffering. We should be like the Vietnamese told us, same. We're the same.
Right. That's
the same dog who bit you bit us too.
That's right.
So we're at a critical point right now, and we have to bring the solution, but we cannot dilute it. We cannot sugarcoat it. We cannot compromise the truth that is to be spoken. That's why the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the boldest black man that we know for humanity in general who speak the truth. But guess what? Here you are, Brother Abel. Here I am. Here's Brother Makandal. Who's going to go to Mexico? Who's going to go to Haiti? Who's going to go there? Like, when is Minister Farrakhan going to go there? He's producing students. And we are on the airwaves, and by whatever means we use to awaken the masses of the people, that revolution that must take place is a spiritual revolution. It's a mental revolution. When we are awakened and see that who we are, just like the revolution took place between Duty Bookman and Cecil Fatima, and Islam and Voodoo came together, and Haiti was free from slavery. But it was a spiritual revolution who took place because Cecil Fatima said that even if the blacks went and fought for their independence, it'll probably just last a few years. But if someone could teach them consciousness, it would last for a long time. So we're in a time right now where say He, Allah, God, Bon Dieu, Dios is one. We don't have time for no gang-banging nationalities, gang-bang religion. The minister said we need to put all that on the back burner. We need to unite, pool our resources, make something for ourselves. Don't be afraid and move forward and do what we must do. But these hypocrites, these demons, your day is coming.
That's right.
And I think I'm going to start praying to the God for your day. But the main thing I need to pray for is for us to come together. And I want to be part of that. I mean, what kind of human being are you? You go there and you ravage the country, and when the people are running from, they're illegal. You dang hypocrite. America is full of hypocrisy. So I had to tell my brothers and sisters yesterday, if you say Haitian are no good, can I say Americans are not good? And had her thinking. Because a lot of times when Haitian people say Moun Blanc or the Americans, they're referring to Europeans. Or when they say American, they're actually thinking to black people in America. So there's even a division because of the lack of knowledge. So our job right now is a 911 state of emergency.
That's right.
To teach our people. So thank you, Brother Makandal, for sharing this. And I was talking with him earlier, and I'll end for now at this point. My brother and all of us and many of us watching this on the news, watching it on YouTube, you can't help but to cry. You can't help but to get angry. And as I was talking with my brother Makandal earlier, he was feeling very sad. And he was very upset, like many of us are. And I said, Brother Makandal, do you remember the time when we went in Haiti and Allah God blessed us to go inside of a prison? And there was a woman there, Brother Abel. They had the man on one side and they had the women on another side. So we were going around the prison and talking with them. Myself, Brother Makandal, and the delegation that we were with, some of the believers in Canada, they were with us. And so we went to this one section and there was a woman laying on the concrete floor, pregnant. Concrete floor. And I bear witness of the God that we served. We called on him and I broke down in tears, Brother Abel. I cried like a baby.
That's right.
And I needed a shoulder to cry on. It was Brother Makandal's shoulder that was available for me. And I cried on his shoulder. And like a baby who couldn't pronounce the words as you choking up in tears, I said, this is not right. This is not fair.
That's right.
And he consoled me. And we've always been consoling one another. And we kneeled down and we held her feet and we held each other's hand and we said a prayer to Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. And we asked the prayer in the name of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and in the name of the minister. And Brother Makandal is my witness. Almighty God Allah blessed us, Brother Abel, who walked out of the prison with the woman.
Praise be to Allah.
Where she could go to a hospital and the authorities came and got her. And the people in the community said, we've never seen nothing like that. And then they said, the Muslims are different. So I was sharing this with Brother Makandal today. I said, look at the power that we are connected to.
That's right.
The true God. And that's what it's going to take for our brothers and sisters. Yes, the enemy is going to do what they're going to do, but it's time for us now to connect to our spirituality. And it's our connection time right now to do freedom, justice, and equality to one another. We cannot continue to talk about the enemy, what he's doing, and we are the one raping each other. We are the one as a people doing harsh things to our young girls. Come on now. You wanted to stop? Let's stop our actions and become civilized human beings in dignity of where we came from, our original land. And when we can stand in righteousness strong, we can stand against opposition. So I say that to say the fight is on.
That's right.
And the fight is on the spiritual level. It's on the mental level. It's on the moral level. It's on the physical level, health-wise. And if we are aggressed on, it is on the social level. It is on the economic level. We must do what we must do. Otherwise, we won't stand a chance.
That's right, dear brother. That's right. All praise is due to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful.
You know, brothers, as I was listening to you, brother, Student Minister Patrick, and reflecting on all you've shared with us tonight, Brother Makandal, you know, you mentioned 9 countries that have to be traversed by our Haitian brothers and sisters to make it to that border, the southern border of the United States. And they're not received well in many of those places, though there are others where there are, as you mentioned, some beautiful stories. But it even shows the level of ignorance of not just one group of people, all of our people, because every one of those 9 nations that the Haitian people trek through owes a debt of gratitude to the people of Haiti.
That's right.
They could not be independent nations themselves anywhere in Central or South America, or the Caribbean, or North America, if it were not for those beautiful, beautiful people who sacrificed so much for their own independence and then continue to sacrifice so that others could be free. And that's the spirit that I hear from both of you. That's the beauty that is really missing from the narrative, from the information, from the knowledge that we all lack that connects us to one another. Obviously, not all of our people have forgotten it, because otherwise they wouldn't be received anywhere. But there's in our subconscious, in our DNA, throughout Latin America, there's a connection to the people of Haiti. Even though the enemy has worked to demonize what Haiti represents, in particular by their whitewashing, not only of our cultures, but because of our spiritual whitewashing that you mentioned, Brother Patrick, because we are filtering everything on a spiritual and educational level through their white supremacist lies. When we see the beautiful darkness of our brothers and sisters from Haiti, it ill affects us because we've been taught to hate and distance ourselves from anything of darkness. But what if we would have distanced ourselves 2 centuries ago when the freedom fighters came out of Haiti to help us fight for freedom? Something has happened, and it's going to happen again. As you mentioned, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, 1804 will happen again, except this time there's something present that both of you are lights and witnesses of. That which they thought they erased, that which they thought they'd removed, that which they thought that they could not allow to come amongst us, that truth, that reality, that knowledge is what is giving you that light, giving you that spirit, giving you the ability to not just look at the circumstance and shake your head and hang your head and cry, but you're going in and literally with the power of Allah, changing the reality. That's what we want to do. Brother Makandal, if you can go a little further from where you had left off in terms of what we're looking at today. Because what we're looking at, I'll tell you from reading the things on the internet, I don't know how much of it most of you have read. People are outraged by what they see, the horsewhips, but they don't know what to do. They don't know we know not to trust the Red Cross. And on top of that, we're still in the midst of this COVID pandemic. But in spite of that, I know you were at the border just a few days ago.
Yes, sir.
And I know you have information. Can you help us to understand, what happened? And you shared earlier some stories with me about our brothers and sisters trying to get back south of the border, which they're not really reporting that clearly in the news. What has happened at the border, who is doing what, and thirdly, what can we do right now where we are? Because it's not easy, obviously, for us to mobilize. It's not safe for us to necessarily be amongst other people. But what can we do? If you can address those 3 points for us.
Yes, sir. Indeed, what happened was our brothers and sisters, when they crossed the border into Del Rio, Texas, they, instead of putting them into a detention center or into a refugee camp, they put them under the bridge. This has never been done before, and they treated them as subhumans. And that area is so dusty. Children, I'm talking about babies, are getting sick by being exposed to the dust. And then at some point, there was torrential rain, and it was very windy. And there's a footage of seeing our people crying and trying to do their best to cover their children as the rain was pouring down on them with heavy wind. And their tops were being pushed away by the wind. And we're talking about 14,000 people under a bridge. Just think about this. And the enemy was so treacherous that he did not want the drone to be flying over the people so that foreigners and others would not cast that image or broadcast that image throughout the world. And then they did not stop there. They blocked the whole highway the Del Rio International Bridge.
Wow.
They blocked it, and then they disallowed any journalists to come to the people and lawyers. So when we got there, we were not allowed to get in, and it was pretty much blocked off by military personnel, and it really looked like a war zone. In fact, I don't even call it a war zone. I call it a crime scene, because this is a scene where there was a lot of human rights violation that were being committed. And so if this was, and it was a crime scene, and it is a crime scene, then who are the victims and who are the criminals?
That's right.
So you can understand that at some point, the God of justice will have to answer to this, because America, as I stated in my in a press conference today in New Jersey, America is playing with fire, because you're dealing with a people that God had chosen to bring freedom, justice, and equality into the Western Hemisphere, to not only to themselves, to all those other nations, including you, America. And this is how you see to fit to treat these people. And meanwhile, you are using your all your planes to ship others from other parts of the world, 20,000 of them from Afghanistan into the United States. I'm not saying that these people do not deserve to be shipped from that war zone too.
Right.
But why is it that you are treating the Haitians with a Title 42, Section 265 law that you are only invoking when it comes to Black people, and then you don't apply it to other immigrants?
That's right.
So Title 42, Section 265, which is a U.S. health law, it gives the government the right to expel immigrants who are seeking to enter into the borders of the United States, based on the notion that these people pose a serious health risk to the public. So by what barometers do you use? What is the yardstick? What is it that you are determining to say that this law should be applicable to Haitians, to Black people? And so this judge, by the name of Judge Emmett Sullivan of Washington, D.C., federal judge, he ruled on that law, and he stated, and listen how wickedly wise this judge is. He said that Title 42, Section 265 should not be used to bar migrants from coming into the United States seeking asylum, which sounds good. However, he stayed the enforcement of his own ruling for 14 days. Now you think about that. It's Title 42 is wrong. You shouldn't be using it, but you can use it until 14 days. You know, for 14 days. After 14 days, you can't use it. So that's why they've been rushing to get as many Haitians out, you know, shipping them into Haiti. Now, the sad thing is, a lot of those people were already relocated into Chile and Brazil and other places, have stayed there for many years and have children born there. So the natural tendency would be to take them and send them back where they came from. No, they take them, including children who were born in those countries, and send them into Haiti. Those people have already left everything that they had, running away from persecution, running away from the earthquake, running away from all kinds of gang warfare going on, which is manufactured by the enemy himself, because he knows the coming and out of those guns coming into Haiti. So you have a situation as such that is now developing in Haiti, where a large group of people are on the streets of Haiti, just roaming from one house to another, have no homes with children. What are you going to do with these people?
Mm.
Already, Haiti was not even prepared to receive them because we just had an earthquake that has claimed 2,200 people and that has destroyed about 130,000 homes. And then it has affected about 3 million people because it affected three departments or state, if you want to use it like that,
Mhm.
in Haiti. So that's almost 1/3 of the Haitian population.
Wow.
So the Secretary of Homeland Security, we had a conference with the White House. He stated, and listen to the man's word, when we told him that we should extend TPS for around the time of the earthquake for those who have been affected by the earthquake, he said, well, the earthquake was not significant to justify extending the TPS.
Wow.
Excuse me?
He's demons, man.
Well, I'll leave this for another time. Because it's almost like they're calling on the God to let them know what significant earthquake looks like.
You know,
So,
if I may,
yes,
no,
sir.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead, beloved.
No, if I may, on that frequency of what Brother Makandal just said, you know, I think it's called what, Title 42? Is that what they call it?
Yes, sir. Title 42, Section
Yeah,
265, U.S. Health Law.
good. Okay, good. Well, we have another title to give, you know, and that's title of the Holy Quran, chapter 42, and section 2 or 3 that talks about Allah's dealing is just.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's our title that we're gonna talk about. And
Yes,
I
sir. I
think
like that.
Brother Makandal brought that up about the God of justice. So God's, you know, his will is not gonna be
Frustrated.
frustrated, you
Hmm.
know, and the enemy is obviously at work. But here's something that I wanted to share as a reminder. You all, of course, remember Teachings 2.0 with the
That's right.
various questions that was asked of the minister and the answers that he would give to where he didn't even want to know what the questions were. And one of the questions that was asked of the minister was that, okay, uh, is Satan's work done, correct, or is it ending? And the
Hmm.
minister, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, answered that question that Satan's time is up and his work is finished. And he said that he, meaning the Satan now, he is now, believe it or not, the minister says, an agent to bring about the will of Allah, God.
Hmm.
And so, what we're witnessing, in my view, also is that, see, our people are being awakened. Democracy is not for us.
That's right.
Being a Republican is not for us. Some of us still want to run. I'm gonna put my faith and trust in the Democratic Party. Okay, who's in the White House now?
Right. Right.
Is he not a Democrat?
Did you say Democrat?
Well, you know, I was gonna say it, and you plucked it right out of my other mind. You know, I mean, who's doing that? So either way we go, this is not for us. The minister says we need our own party, the Justice Party.
That's right.
And so God is manifesting to all of us that this system of things is not for us. It does not benefit us. And you know, there's Brother Makandal can bear witness, and Brother Abel, many others. You have people who are still, we got to run in and we got to go and vote for this. How
Right.
long?
Right.
I mean, this is like, we're talking over 4 centuries.
Right.
Not, 2 decades ago, over 4 centuries. And look at the treatment that we are receiving. And the minister says that the French, European French, they never forgot the whooping that the Haitian put on their backside.
That's right.
They never forgot that. So instead, they turn around and try to put in the form of a debt, which is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us another form of slavery.
Slavery. That's right. That's right.
See, that's what's crushing us, crushing the people, robbing the country. And then when the people are left without and they're trying to eat from this, we met people that were eating salt, and they would put salt in Haiti. They would put salt under their tongue to refrain them from having an appetite to look for food. And you demons, you go over there, you built stuff, and you want to live in a particular condition. Wait a minute. Is not God the just God?
Come on now.
We don't want no punctified God that's for everybody when the wicked is crushing the people of God everywhere. Cuba, Haiti, and Mexico, all throughout the earth. I don't want that God.
Come on now.
My was invited recently by a brother in Haiti that I know. And he's been providing jobs by traveling to Haiti. And he had a team of young people. And I've spoken with them via Zoom. And this time he asked me, he said, Brother Patrick, do you think that your wife could speak to my team that I have here? Absolutely. I asked my wife, she was okay with it. So we did a Zoom. By the time she finished speaking passionate words on truth of the life-giving teachings that we have. By the time they asked questions and they asked me if I could also join, and we did that, he sent me a reply that the majority of our brothers and sisters in Haiti, they want to go take a deeper look into the religion that was given to them. See, there's a revolution taking place in more ways than one. We need the truth and stand on the truth. Democratic Party is not for us. Republican Party is not for us. We're looking at the same people who smile in our face. I'd rather have the snake that's not in the grass.
That's right.
And right now we have snakes in the grass that are doing different things, and our people are suffering. I cried, Brother Joseph Makandal. I cried, Brother Abel. As a matter of fact, I have it on my phone, a picture of a woman in Haiti with 2 babies with cardboard boxes sleeping on the sidewalk. I look at that, it motivates me. So for us who are in America and we're saying, oh, look what's happening to the people in Haiti. Oh, be careful.
Right.
Come on now.
Be careful, or we need to pray for them. And oh my God, it's so sad over there. Be careful, because the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, under the leadership of the honorable Minister Farrakhan, he has told us that what we see happening overseas will be in America. Famine and everything else. So we got to prepare. A old world is going out and a new world is coming in, and the God of justice is the one who's at the head of the new world. So for our brothers and sisters who are suffering, and these judges and all who make these rules and they write the laws and then they put an avenue for them and a crook in here and a crook in there, man, we sick and tired of this kind of thing. But we also must be sick and tired of our own condition and change our condition. Nobody's going to come knocking on our door to give us nothing.
That's right.
We have to pull our resources. Be brothers and sisters. Brother Abel is my brother. We are brothers of each other. Oh no, he's Mexican. Oh, stop that foolishness. Texas, California, all of it belongs to Mexico anyways. So there's a new revolution taking place, and blacks and Latinos are going to be working together. That's why we love the teaching of the Nation of Islam that talks about the original man and the original woman, and it includes our brothers and sisters of South and Central America.
That's right.
So in Texas, go on, wicked ones, do what you got to do. But while you're doing that, pay attention to them hurricanes that the minister talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And the unusual rain. It rained so hard here in Florida, it was like nonstop today. And condition all over. So as the enemy's doing what they're doing, God is doing what he's doing. Do you know, and I close on this point, I spoke with my relative in Haiti. Strange enough, after the president of Haiti was assassinated, then the United States and all of their companions gave a gift to Haiti. And guess what the gift was?
Go ahead.
Vaccines.
500,000 doses.
500,000 vaccines. 500,000 vaccines free. Since when did the enemy give us something for free that was good?
Come on now. And the president.
We need to wake up. We need to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
So we in a serious hour. Very serious hour. So we're running from Haiti. We're running when the enemy goes there. We come back over here. Good God Almighty, where do we go? Where do we go? But I tell you one thing, where you could go, everybody. You can come to the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
That's where you could go.
That's right.
I know I'm not a Muslim. I'm not this. Don't worry. Keep breathing. You will find out, sure enough, that the God and the Christ who backed the minister in the Nation of Islam is your safe haven. You can take it or let it alone. Well, if not, where are you going? Tell me where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
See, we don't have much, but guess one thing we have. We're not afraid standing on this life-giving teachings.
That's right.
But you all don't have this. You all have, well, that's all right. Keep judging the ark, but the ark is still getting built.
That's right.
But when it's all said and done, this is where it's gonna be. This is where it's at. This is where the truth is, and you're gonna find out something that's gonna be amazing for you. You're gonna run into your nature. You're going to run into your nature. You're going to grab your nature. You're going to hug your nature. And then you're going to find out that your nature is in your next brother and sister. And you're going to be hugging them. Next thing you know, we're deeply in love.
That's right.
Because God is forcing us now to unite. God is forcing us now to change our mentality and whatnot. And since we're on that subject, to my Haitian brothers and sisters, stop using the words to one another, negsa, negsa, negsa. As if neg is a good word to use. Neg means Negro. Don't use that. Use frère, which is your brother. Use sœur, which is your sister. So we got to change our mentality and change our vocabulary. So when I look at the 15,000 Haitian brothers and sisters, these are my brothers and sisters. And the babies are my nephews and nieces. So we got to unite and do something for ourselves. And the diaspora has a key responsibility to help our brothers and sisters. This enemy's time is up, man. So us who are here, followers and helper of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we have a responsibility to do. And I'd like to, if Brother Abel, turn it to Brother Makandal, if you could share what the minister told you to focus on with our brothers and sisters and helping them in this critical hour. I think you'll find that to be very profound.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, brother, for laying the base. The minister has always been on point. I mean, it's a truism, you know. It's the truth. I experienced that. I've heard him saying things about what's gonna happen, but to hear him saying things to me personally, and giving me guidance and see what his guidance has led to is definitely a personal experience that I can share. I would start with 2016. Brother Patrick and about 10 of us and myself were giving the mission to go to Haiti, and the minister gave me a specific message to give to those elected officials in Haiti, those in a higher echelon, the parliament and the president. And I went and met with a member of the parliament who was the head of the parliament at the time. And I shared the message to him, and Brother Patrick is my witness. As I was speaking to the brother, at first, he was looking all pompous and, arrogant and whatnot, his shoulders squared up and his head held high. And I started telling him about what the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan told me to tell him about the fact that they need to do what's right by the people of God, and that if they do right by the people of God, they will be rewarded. However, if they fail to do what's right by the people of God and stand for the best interest of the people, their name will be reading off in history as those who sell the best interest of the people. And so, as I continue to go on in what the minister shared with me, and the brother started putting his head down, and Brother Patrick is my witness on that. And so, after that, I had another trip where I had a chance to speak with the president of Haiti at that time, Mr. Prévert, in 2016. And I shared with him what similar message from the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. And then 2017, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said, Brother Makandal, when you go to Haiti, do not bother trying to meet with those elected officials. Just focus on the people. Focus on those who are downtrodden, the rejected and then despised, and share my love for them through you. And that's one of the reasons why I ended up creating these organizations of Respect for Life Foundation and Combit Remplite Batimoun, which is a rough translation of movement of self-improvement, the basis for community development. And so we, for 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, we were just at it, focusing on our people, going into the byways in the mountains, very remote places in Haiti that I personally have never been before when I was living in Haiti. And so trying to do my best to share that love that the minister had commissioned me to share with our people. We even went to the l'Hôpital Général, which is the state hospital, to feed those who were sick, at the hospital, because they are left out, imagine going into a hospital, people are sleeping under cardboard, being just neglected, and they have to buy their own gloves and their own sanitizers for the doctor to touch them and do whatever they have to do to help them. And so we not only give them food, but also some of them we give them money from the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. And all of that, I remember there was a particular scene. I wish I had the picture. I could have shared it with you, Brother Abel, where I was feeding a brother who was so weak that he could not feed himself. And this is from the food that we prepared. And we made sure we prepared home grown organic food. We told our cook that we're not gonna buy any imported food at all. We want the best. We want the best for our people, because that's how God sees them, and that's what the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan would want to do if he were there with them. And in fact, I try my best to make him there with them in my own action.
I bear witness.
As I was feeding the brother, putting the food in his mouth, both of us at the same time broke down crying. I don't know what happened, but I know what happened with me, because at that time, I immediately saw the face of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his voice when he told me, communicate my love to our people. through you, brother. And I heard it, and as I'm doing it, and I felt right at that moment, this is exactly what he wanted to see happening. And I broke down crying, and the brother was crying at the same time. And it was a very powerful moment in my journey in Haiti. And fast forward into 2000, this year, mind you, I followed the instructions. I'm not, hobnobbing with no politicians and whatnot. And people did not even know my views and my position vis-a-vis those different things that were going on politically in Haiti. And there was a lot of protests against that President Jovenel. And it was very virulent. The opposition was so strong that they even spilled over into the diaspora, and they sent invitation to me to participate in their protests against the misery and this insecurity going on in Haiti. But the real agenda was against the president. But I did not know, because they are using trickery. Who would be in favor of the misery and then the insecurity going on in Haiti? Nobody. So it was a good tactic on their part, but they sent the invitation also to the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan through me. And so that was an opportunity for me to reach out to our father and ask, what is his opinion, because they wanted him to participate in that march. And the minister said, I have to speak with you. And I had a chance to speak with him for an hour and 3 minutes. And in my conversation with the minister, he questioned me for 35 minutes of that hour. That's how the minister is. He's probing it like a prosecutor, and he's just like interrogating me and bringing stuff out that makes me even understand clearer the full picture. And then he started asking me, well, what does expert in this area of the law of Haitian Constitution are saying about this, are saying about that? And then I said to myself, wow. And then he said, brother, there seems to be a lot of confusion around these protests in March. He said, your time will be best if you're trying to rally those brothers and sisters who are in conflict with one another and bring unity amongst them, particularly those gang leaders. And then he said, find out what is it that the president is doing that is positive, and trying to support it, as opposed to trying to be in opposition to the president. And then he said, they are asking for the president to be out, to leave power and just to go away. And then he said, a weak head with a body with a weak head is better than a body without a head.
Come on now. Come on.
So he said a body without a head would decompose. But a body with a weak head, there's a chance, there's a possibility that you can work with that body, because it's still alive, and you can manage, you can kind of negotiate and find something from that head. Because he said once the body has no head, then there will be complete chaos. There will be no direction. And this is exactly where Haiti is right now. No president, complete chaos. The people are running away. You see that mass migration, which has never seen before, of Haitians leaving their country.
That's right.
And then who does can you imagine, you leave, you go out, you go to work, and somebody say, I'm gonna take you back home. And you say, no, I don't want to go home. Think about this. You don't want to go to your own house?
Come on now.
What has happened to the point where your house is no longer it's not safe for you anymore, for you to even go there anymore.
Right.
Your house has become a foreign house to you. And so that's the condition that Haiti has been placed in. So the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, in his wisdom, has directed me to find that which is positive, to focus and to help the president, because he said it's better to find something that is positive during those last 8 months, because they wanted him to leave power when there was only 8 months left in power.
Right.
So this, he said, don't make decisions based on political stake. Makes decision on life stake. What is in the best interest of the Haitian people? Is it that which is politically expedient, or that which will save their lives, will establish some measure of stability and peace, which will avoid the bloodshed of our brothers and sisters? And so I took that route, and by the grace of Allah, we were successful because we wanted to bring about a change. The Bible talks about it. There will be a new heaven and a new earth. There will be a new Jerusalem. So those notions gave me the understanding that, well, because the president was promoting a new constitution, I said, what better way or avenue to bring about a new Haiti by embracing his idea of having a new constitution. And as a lawyer, I work with other lawyers, and we help to amend some of the proposition that they made, some of that constitution, to reflect the Haiti that the minister said that Haiti needs a new vision. That's what he said to us. Haiti need a new vision, and it will take our unity to bring about that new vision. And then a few months from that was in July, in May, 2 months later, the president was killed. It was after the president was killed, some of those videos that was hidden by the oppositions and others started to emerge about the good work of that president. Brother, I'm telling you, man, I cried so hard, because I felt that if I did not get a chance to have that conversation with the minister, I would have been on the wrong side of history. Just going along with people just trying to manipulate things and they are creating the atmosphere, causing the killing and the kidnapping, and blaming on the president. I'm telling you, this demon is something else. So now, and after that, I was planning to go to Haiti, because I was giving the instruction to find ways to bring the gangs together and whatnot. And Brother Patrick and myself and others from the 7th region, we met. We were trying to find some plan, to come up with some plan to go there. And as we were reflecting on what to do, then I had another opportunity to speak with the minister. And I personally had August 14 in mind as a date to go there. Why August 14th? Because that was the celebration of the Revolutionary War that led to Haiti's independence, August 14. That when Bookman in 1791 started the revolution in Haiti. So I had this in mind to go there, and so the minister told me, brother, stand down. Stand down. Don't go to Haiti. And then what happened in August 14? Earthquake.
Wow.
Country lockdown. You can't travel out. There was an earthquake. So, and many other things, I don't want to take too long, but all of those things are confirmation to me that the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan is absolutely a man of God.
That's right.
He's connected to the Christ, who is continuously guiding him, and he's guiding us.
That's right.
Onto the right path. And so, brothers and sisters, please heed to his voice and his instructions, because we're gonna go through hard times, as I heard him say, but only our unity will allow us to survive. And Brother Patrick was alluding to it. Accept your own and be yourself.
That's right.
The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan told me one of my trips, he said, brother, the Haitian people does not need another religion.
That's right.
What the Haitian people need, brother, is freedom, justice, equality, through love and unity.
That's right.
So, what is Islam? Islam is
Freedom,
freedom,
justice,
justice,
equality.
and equality. So you don't go there and bring dogma to the people.
That's right.
You bring the principles of freedom, the principle of justice, the principle of equality unto the people. And once you do that, you really bring them into their nature, because what were they fighting for to lead to 1804 was freedom, justice, and equality.
Praise
All
be.
praises to
And
God.
Brother Abel,
Yes, sir.
may I add this?
Yes, sir.
Because Brother Joseph is very bashful. He won't say this part, but I have to bear witness to this. Brother Joseph Makandal, for many, many, many years, he has taken money out of his own pocket
Praise be to Allah.
to finance the work that Allah has blessed him to do in Haiti. Foundation of Respect pour la Vie, which is Respect for Life, and the most recent other ones, multiple pictures of him coming out of his own pocket, buying stuff for the children and what the people need and taking care of family. He won't say that, but I will. Like, he didn't know I was going to do that right now. So I'm saying that to say, since we're talking about unity.
May I interject just very quickly? Were it not for the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, first of all, I probably would have been dead already. I would not have gone to the Columbia University, going to law school, and having all those successes and being blessed with my own law firm. So it's really not my own money. It's still the money of the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Go ahead, brother.
Praise be to Allah. Great. See, that's the kind of brother he is. Now I got to give the other side. The side that I was talking about, and that's the beautiful spirit that Brother Joseph Makandal has. In the flag of Haiti, it says in French, "L'union fait la force." Unity makes strength. Unity. And we were talking about unity from the beginning. I do not trust the Red Cross.
That's right. That's right.
I don't trust some of these other enemy-founded organizations that take all the money and our people never see it.
That's right.
Robbing us blind. But I have to say, and I can vouch for Brother Joseph Makandal as a student minister of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam and the work that he's doing. I would encourage many of the viewers, if you want to help, you can trust that man.
That's right.
You can trust him. I have worked with him. We've known each other for many years. A man of integrity who tries to follow the example of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So many people want to help right now. And so the organizations that Allah has blessed him to do, and even when he comes out of his own money and he gives to the people in need, he always says, this is from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. That's his pattern. So we do need money to help our people to do certain things. So on the contact that I'm seeing on the screen, contact Brother Joseph Makandal on how you want to help. He will direct you to the organization and how to do so. We're all uniting to do so in the 7th region of the Nation of Islam, and Haiti is part of this region. So I want to help. All I want to do is help, Brother Abel. That's all I want to do. So this part, I love doing this. I love talking about other people that are doing good. So we have to do that, because we don't know what's going to happen now. There are some believers I spoke with who say they want to help just earlier today. and they said they would watch this. So our brother right here. So as we're galvanizing to do certain things and see what we can do, also even legally, what
That's
he's
right.
able to do, because
That's
that's
right.
very important. I don't think it's a coincidence that our brother is also an attorney
That's
and
right.
a very successful attorney, former mayor, a man of integrity. So we want to back that, because when we're helping our brother to do this work in Haiti and for our brothers and sisters of the Haitian community, you're also helping the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. That's why our brother Abel, such a beautiful brother, since I've met you, brother,
Praise
you have
God.
a unique spirit, a unique spirit to love and help. This is the kind of hour that we in.
That's right.
And so our like-minded brothers and sisters to do this, and then the rest of our brothers said, join in. Just don't come with no haterade.
That's right.
You know, we don't need that right now. So I wanted to say that as we're galvanized to see what we can do for our brothers and sisters in Texas, probably another trip forthcoming and whatnot. So I wanted to just put that on the platform.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna right now. I just brother Makandal, you just text me. I'm gonna put it on the runner there at the bottom so that we can share that website you just sent me.
Yes, sir. These are the two websites. Either one, you know, you
I'm
can
gonna I'm gonna
send.
I'm gonna change that thing banner in a second here. And while I'm doing that, brother, if you could talk a little bit about what is needed right now. Brother Patrick, Student Minister Patrick just mentioned, of course, we always know money. And I've seen people in parts of the country collecting items, which is, we always need everything. Of course, our people, when they're impoverished, but even here, we need that. You know, there are families here. From both of your vantage points, having family in Haiti, in particular, Brother Makandal, because you were there at the border, those are two connected situations, but there's actually an issue on the island, and then there's issues at the border with what's happening, and they feed and go back and forth about one another. Those two things are connected. I'm going to share the links, and people can donate there if they need to. But if either of you have anything else we can share so that people know where they can go to find trusted sources that they can support, whether it be emails, calls, funds, supply, whatever may be needed. We don't want to just waste by giving to somebody who's not going to ensure that the help and aid gets to where it's going to go. And that's really why I wanted both of you on here, because both of you, as our brothers, know the heart of the people to want to help, and the enemy knows that heart too, and the enemy will take advantage of that, take the little that we sacrifice, and then not even bring it to those who need it, as they do with different organizations, you know, that are really corporations now across the planet. But what we want is those trusted sources. And I'm going to put the two that you just gave me, Brother Makandal, on here. But if either or both of you can talk a little bit about those organizations and where you suggest people go to and what they can do right now to help, and also to get real information about what's happening and not just follow the mainstream news media.
Yes, sir. Well, there's several organizations. First of which is the Respect for Life Foundation, which I am the general coordinator of that organization, which is based in Haiti, and we are focusing on the children, particularly those whose parents are not able to feed them and send them to school. We provide them this type of assistance, and then we're gonna have to add another element to this service that we provide, because I received some phone calls today from individuals who were recently being deported, not deported, but expelled, because there's a distinction between deportation and expulsion. But they were expelled into Haiti. Just quick parenthesis: expulsion is because they were not giving due process to even be considered as to why is it that they came to the United States in the first place. They just expelled them without any interview. So they expelled them into Haiti, and they have pretty much nothing. And so they are reaching out to me because they have put my number, or number of people have put my number on social media as a go-to person based on our track record of working on behalf of our people, which was wisdom on the part of the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan from 2017, when he gave me that mission to focus on our brothers and sisters who are rejected and despised. And so those people are reaching out to me indicating that they don't have a place to stay, they don't have food, they don't have means of taking care of their children. Um, the circumstances that are being created, it's almost like Allah is creating, is the master of all circumstances, putting us in such a position where we are now the focus of our people's hope. And so we want to be able to meet that hope with substance. And so eventually, if Allah, not if, when Allah blesses us with the necessary substance, we want to be able to rise to the occasion as much as we can to suffice the needs of our people who have been expelled in Haiti. And we have the other organization by the name of the HDOH, Haitian Diaspora United for Haiti, of which I am the vice president of that organization, which is based in New Jersey. We had the foresight that Haiti needed a lot of items for like medical materials for those different hospitals, and we shipped a 40-foot container a month ago, actually a month and a half ago, before the earthquake, and that container arrived 4 days after the earthquake, and then we were able to put it to use for those various clinics and hospitals for distribution. So these are the two organizations. There's another organization in which I'll send it to you in a minute, Brother Abel. This is called the National Haitian American Elected Officials Network. This organization, I was the president of that organization for about 7 years. It was founded in 2009. And the reason why I mention it is because we are creating a portal that's on a level where we can actually show the donations that are being given and who is giving those donations to. And then we have created, I worked on the memorandum of understanding where different organizations who would enter into a memorandum of understanding with us will put on our portal what they have received and where they are sending whatever they receive to in Haiti, and then they will ultimately give a report as to how those items they receive have been used. And then we want to do that also for financial purposes as well. This is something that just started. It has not fully taken shape yet. So this is just to show you the level of organization that we are engaging in. But I will text it to you in momentarily, Brother Abel. But for now, those two organizations that I mentioned, they are actively receiving donation and using them toward for that purpose. And the third one certainly can be used as well for that purpose. And so I'll text it to you right now, beloved.
Yes, sir. Thank you, dear brother. And I wanted to, before we go further, we only have about 12 minutes left on our broadcast here, but I wanted to welcome on board. This is the 7th region takeover, it looks like tonight. We have our brother from Miami as well, by way of Cuba. Our brother Tony Muhammad, known as the hip hop educator as well, wonderful teacher and brother here, as well as former FOI of the year as well. But he's here. He was joining us late because he was actually at a 7th Region Coalition meeting. earlier this evening, but I wanted to bring him on and give each of you, and we'll start with Brother Tony and go to Brother Makandal and then Brother Student Minister Patrick. If we could just make some comments for us as we're closing out here in terms of, and I don't want to put it within any parameters, what we've seen happening, what you would want the people to know about it. And if each of us could just take a couple of minutes on that, we can close out. And we'll start with, like I said, Brother Tony, then Student Minister Makandal, and Student Regional Minister Patrick.
If I may begin, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness to the oneness of Allah who appeared and intervened in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. I'm forever thankful to Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thank them both for the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum. This topic really hit home because I'm not only am involved in the student ministry in my mosque and in my region. I'm not only an FOI, or as you put it, brother Abel, I won an award 1 year or anything of that nature. This hit home because of the populations that we teach. And I do teaching, not just, we're not teaching in the mosque right now, but I have the majority of my students are of Haitian ancestry. And so every day I deal with children. This situation didn't just start happening just last week. This has been happening for months. And now things have become exposed. This is the unraveling of America. And so the best thing that I could do is bring comfort to my students by letting them talk to me, because sometimes they just got to get it out. And me just to lend ears to them. They're concerned about family members that just 2 days ago, one of them told me that one of their family members that was right there on the Texas border, he finally made it over to Miami. And they didn't have too much information about the relative. They just heard that he made it here. And so these things are happening, and they're happening rapidly. And so right now, the main thing that we have to be concerned about is I'm gonna read a quote from Sun Tzu in The Art of War. The whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom our real intent. What is the intent of the enemy? See, right now there's confusion in relation to what happened a couple of months ago in Cuba, and there's been a lot of false reports about, these were mass protests. You see, there's a lot of false information that's come out in regards to Haiti. And the enemy does not want to talk about where they have been responsible. And so right now, it's a blessing and an honor to have played a part in facilitating this platform here tonight, because people have been asking, well, what is the Nation of Islam saying? What about this? A lot of us are unraveling. We're seeing our people suffering in the Texas border. What do we do in this hour? Our people need guidance. And the best guidance that they could get is from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and those of us that follow him. And that's what I will broadcast to our people, no matter if they come from Haiti or from Cuba, which a lot of us that consider ourselves conscientious, we're there in the streets using the enemy's hashtags, SOS, Cuba, and we really don't know what we're participating in. And we're not realizing how much of a hand the enemy is playing right now, and so much confusion and so many misdeeds. Did we know that no medical supplies are being allowed from the United States or into Cuba right now? That's inhuman. And so the same inhumanity that the United States and particularly the Clintons and others that are playing there in Haiti right now, exploiting Haiti, they're not taking responsibility over any of these things. And so it's very convenient for Joe Biden, who portrays himself as a fox, sending Kamala Harris down and talking about the horrors, and like they're acting like they had no idea that it was taking place. Right now, family, let us unite. and let's unite under the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's what I have to say, Student Minister Abel.
Praise be
Yes,
to
sir.
Allah. And Brother Makandal.
Yes, sir. The word that comes to my mind is that a mathematician does not cry when he sees a problem. A mathematician gets excited when he finds a very complicated problem. And we are facing a very complicated problem today. And we say Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. And so, as Muslims, as those who have been striving to study the teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, it is an exciting time to see the God of Islam deal with this problem that nobody else can solve but himself.
That's right.
So we have front seat into this show in watching the unraveling of the nations of the earth, particularly these United States, and see the change of worlds. And I'm comforted into knowing that Allah, God, will hold America accountable for her evil. She may think that she is the Lord or the landlord, but there's a Lord of the landlord. And I'm brought into this issue of the final call, separation or death, in which it says a United Nations panel has raised the issue of human rights violation inside of the United States, and the Biden administration has agreed to allow UN experts inside of America to examine these charges. But there is a power in the world capable of judging and punishing America. Allah is present in destroying America for the evil she has done and is doing and plan to do. Because we know that the UN is not going to be able, even if they were to find any violation, they can't punish America, because it is America who is one of the number one financier and the backup of the UN. This is just a show. It's a puppet show. It's a lion with no teeth.
Mm.
So don't fall for the hokey doke. But I pray and hope that as the UN is coming to investigate, they need to go to that crime scene
That's right.
in Del Rio, Texas, and issue a report. And I can't wait to see that fake report. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Brother Student Regional Minister Patrick.
Yes, sir. In closing, to our brothers and sisters and viewers in general, many years ago, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan set foot on the island of Haiti. And as a matter of fact, Brother Joseph Makandal was his translator as he addressed the crowd. And he was asking, where is Toussaint Louverture now, who fought for Haiti? He said, where is Jean-Jacques Dessalines, great general for Haiti? Where is Makandal? Where is Duty Boukman? And he looked at the crowd and he says, I'm looking at them. So it is time for us to understand where we came from. Once we understand where we come from, we'll know where we stand and we'll know where we're going. But if we don't know where we come from, have no knowledge of our history, the real history, then we're left to be amongst the ignorant of the masses, where the enemy can use us as a tool and also a slave. And our supreme wisdom lessons given unto us by Master Fard Muhammad to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, it talks about an enemy that was made on our planet many thousand years ago. And this enemy brought something. Whenever we're looking at conflict, third party conflict, there's always a hidden hand.
That's right.
And that's what we fail to see. The hidden hand inside America, the hidden hand of division, the hidden hand in Haiti, the hidden hand in Cuba and Mexico and all over the planet Earth, that hidden hand. So in our lesson, it says that the devil, they started making trouble among the righteous people, telling lies.
That's right.
They accused the righteous people, causing them to fight and kill one another. We must now recognize who God is. We must have a knowledge of ourselves, and we must also know who our enemy is, our open enemy.
That's right.
So, in this hour for unity, we have to first know who we are.
That's right.
And we have to know our open enemy and the tactics that they use. So, in the seventh region of the Nation of Islam, while the God permits me to serve in the name of His Christ and in the name of the minister, I want to do all that I can to help my brothers and sisters throughout the state, throughout the islands, throughout these different countries. I think that we sent, might have text you, Brother Abel, an email address that for those who want to contact, we're in connection here. And we want to make sure that we'll be in contact with you. I want to help Brother Joseph Makandal. I want to help all of my brothers and sisters. Great help for Brother Tony. I don't know how many hats he wears. That black hat is not the only one that he wears. He's hiding all these other hats. He's of great, 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 great help in helping me here as well. So I want to make sure that I do the best to develop an admin team, which we're in the process of doing, so we can really know how to function and administratively and help throughout this process, because it's 911. So I pray to be a better servant and work with you all, my brothers and sisters, for the liberation of our people, Black people, and humanity in general. So please help our brothers who are fighting for the cause. Help Brother Joseph Makandal. Help Brother Abel. Help Brother Tony. Help us, because we love you all, and we are sick and tired of watching at the suffering of humanity and our people. And we vow, by the help of the Almighty God, to put our integrity on the line, so that indeed we can fall in what the scripture says, behold, God makes all things new. We cannot have new things until we have new people.
That's right.
And we cannot have new people unless we have a new mind. So thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, dear brother. We thank Allah for each of you that we were blessed to hear from. That email right there is the one if you want to contact and assist with what is needed in Haiti, which is in the 7th region. You see the email there is 7th region core at gmail.com. We're also going to make sure before we close out here, we have to thank Student Minister James, Student Minister Chad, Sister Starla, and all of those. This is their platform we're on right now. So at the bottom right here, you notice I have a little running ad for them, so you can subscribe to them.
Yes.
But also, this is not a free site. This costs real money just to do all of these things that we do here and get it through all of the avenues. So right now we're live on several YouTube channels, several Facebook pages and channels, as well as Twitch. So there's a bunch of areas where it's being shared as well. So this will go out to our people so that they can pool our resources, unite, and help those who are really sincere on the ground, helping our people. And they're not just doing it for some vain purpose. No, this is what these brothers have dedicated their lives to, and we want to do all we can to help them. So make sure at the bottom of the page there's a Cash App, and there's a place where you can make a donation to support the work that Closing the Gap broadcasts are doing for us. Brother Research Minister, Brother Dimitri has a program on here. You'll see Student Minister Ishmael on here frequently, Student Minister Nuri. Who else is our Student Minister? Dr. Ava Muhammad, you'll see on here, Dr. Wesley. Everyone who has something to contribute will be on here at some point on one of these programs. So we want to make sure we support them. And I wanted to close out, as that's running across the bottom of the screen right now, and just wanted to share something in closing, as I was blessed to speak with our brother, Student Minister Makandal, earlier today. And he was sharing with me an experience he had at the border, helping us make sense of those photographs. And what people don't realize is, while the American government was saying that they're not deporting people, they were in fact deporting people. And when the Haitian brothers and sisters who came seeking asylum found out that they were going to be deported and separated from their family and had to live under these bridges, many of them started heading back across the water to Mexico to avoid deportation back to Haiti, which they had to flee from. Our brother shared with me that on the United States side, they lowered the levee wall so that the water would rise as the brothers and sisters were trying to cross back into the safety of Mexico.
That's right.
This is the kind of enemy we're dealing with. But look how Allah works. The Mexican brothers and sisters took rope and sent it across and made a line so that as the water was rising, the Haitian brothers and sisters could hold on to the rope and try to make it back across safely.
Come on now. Hold on to the mighty rope of God.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
This word from the Holy Quran.
Come on.
Found in the 3rd chapter, where it says, and hold on.
Come on.
To the rope of Allah.
Come on.
Now, my brother said that when the Mexicans put the rope across to help the Haitians, the United States Border Patrol cut the rope.
Come on now.
Endangering the life of our Haitian brothers and sisters.
Some died.
And some did die.
That's right.
That's how hateful the enemy is. But we don't have a man-made rope. We are offering the rope of Allah. The enemy can't cut it.
Come on now.
You can't even reach it to touch it.
That's right.
But the surah says, hold on, hold fast by the rope of Allah, all together.
Come on.
And be not disunited.
That's right.
Right.
And remember Allah, God's favor to you when you were enemies. Then he united your hearts. So by his favor, you became brothers. And you were on the brink of a pit of fire, then he saved you from it. Thus does Allah make clear to you his messages that you may be guided. Allah is blessing us in the nation of Islam to be a sign of real brotherhood.
That's right.
Real unity. This, if we hold on to the rope of Allah, the enemy can't break this unity. It is only us letting go of that unbreakable rope that could divide us. But together, we can get justice for our Haitian brothers and sisters, justice for our Cuban brothers and sisters, justice for our Mexican brothers and sisters, justice for all humanity, if we will hold on to the rope of Allah. What is that rope of Allah? It's a covenant. It's a promise that if we submit and live a life in accord with the natural law and the natural way of the Creator, we will have the support of all of creation, the heavens and the earth. And we are now in the time of our unity. So the longer we perpetuate this unity, all we're doing is prolonging the enemy's time amongst us. Aren't we tired? Isn't it time to close the gap between Haitians and Dominican brothers, between all people in the Caribbean, between all suffering people, black, brown, red, yellow, poor, white? We can do it. We will do it. We must do it.
That's right.
We thank you, brother student minister Makandal, brother Tony,
Peace be to Allah.
student regional minister Patrick Muhammad. We
Thank
got to
you,
do
sir.
this again. We got to do
Yes,
this
sir. Yes,
because
sir.
our people need. We didn't even get into everything at all. We ran out of time. When we so we want to make sure that we get back on here soon with updates for our people, and make sure you donate. I'm going to put it up one more time here if we have it. Oh, it's gone from my list here. But make sure you contact our brother. That email again was 7thregioncorps@gmail.com. Let's make sure we support. If you email there, we can get you all of the other contacts, but this will be available on playback, and you'll be able to see at the bottom of the screen all of the emails and the websites that you can go to support the wonderful work and support the Haitian people who supported us, and that we are so-called able to today speak freely in a so-called free American society because of the sacrifice and the revolutionary spirit of real love of our brothers and sisters from Haiti. May Allah bless us all, brothers and sisters, as we greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. La paz sea con usted. Peace be unto you.
La paix avec nous.
La paix avec nous. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Ayi bobo.
Ayi bobo.